What's going on? Whose wedding is it anyway, producers? My name is Sarah Jane Bennett and I am the owner of All Events Perfect. I run an office here in northern New Jersey out of Verona and soon to be Chester, New Jersey. I primarily do weddings in New Jersey, but I often have weddings in Connecticut and sometimes the NYC. I've been doing weddings under my name, All Events Perfect, for approximately 5 years. Prior to that, I did apprenticing work with other wedding companies for a couple years, and before that I was in law school after I got my BS in criminal justice. Yes, craziness, I get it all the time. How did you go from that to this? Well, I think marrying my husband that forced me to have a big wedding instead of running away to an island like I wanted, since we had both been married before, triggered something in me and found my true inner self. And our wedding ended up being a big hoopla where it was in magazines, on television. We got tons of emails. We were stopped anywhere between Canada and the airport, even on a Caribbean cruise. And I kept thinking, I might have something here. Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? I mean, I spent all this time in school. My parents are going to kill me. But my husband talked me into doing it, and he basically said he's going to support me, and if it's my passion, I should follow it, stick to my gut, and I ran with it. And so here I am 7 years later. I would say I have a little funky style. I am all about not doing tradition. I always say create your own tradition. Who says things have to be cookie cutter, have to be white linens, white cake? My motto to all my clients are, do you. So I love the client that says they want to show their personality. They want their guests to remember the wedding more than after breakfast. They want to still be talking about it the week after, 2 weeks after, and that's what gets me going. Challenging. What are we going to say about this couple? What's their personality? What do they love? Do they bungee jump? Do they love hiking? Are they big wine people, foodies, chocolates, chocoholics, and let's go nuts, let's play with color, let's have orange and purple, whatever it needs be. But I would definitely say my signature is, let's just kick all the old stuff to the curb, let's be funky, let's be fun, and just trying to convince them to roll with it and not be afraid that because they haven't seen it done or they've never been to a wedding that had orange and blue or purple and orange isn't going to work. So my style would just definitely be, let's kick it out the box, let's do something fresh and really have people say wow when they walk into the room. Thus far, I've probably done about 100 weddings. I sometimes count my first wedding, which I was 19 when I got married, is my first taste of event planning, but realistically when I say that, I'm cheating. That was back in 1995. But I have done well over 100 weddings, not only under All Events Perfect, but when I did apprentice work for two other major wedding planning companies in New Jersey and in Virginia, which is where I went to college. Every day it gets better and better. Each time, especially now that I'm working for myself, I get to experience all sorts of weddings, crazy, quirky weddings, insane brides, insane family members fighting, the husband's side of the family is not talking to the bride. They weren't going to be in the wedding. 5 minutes before the wedding starts, the groom's family decides to talk to the bride and be a part of the wedding. I've done Halloween weddings where a drunk passerby thought that he needed to do an exorcism on this Halloween wedding where everybody was dressed in costume, including the justice of the peace. He had like a painted Ozzy Osbourne face, and here comes like this drunk guy like yelling and screaming, Satan, Satan. The only good thing is I think because it was Halloween, people thought that it might have actually been part of the wedding. So those of us that were involved in the planning, and of course the bride and groom, were mortified, and everybody else probably thought that it went with the whole theme. So, we had to kick him out of the country club. He kept yelling. I mean, this guy basically had everything except the holy water that I thought he was going to run down and like tackle either the guest or the groom, saying that he was evil. So, she was freaked out a little bit. Everybody else chuckled, so crisis averted. Totally true story about groom's family not wanting to have anything to do with the bride. They did end up participating the last couple minutes, but his side of the family talked about her the whole reception. It was like parting of the Red Sea. Her side was on one end of the room. His side was on the other end of the room. So, you know, definitely interesting. I have type A brides a lot that hire me and say they need my help and they're too busy, and then end up trying to tell me what to do the entire planning process. My inside joke with my husband and my staff and some friends is I wish I could give them a personality test before we actually start working together. Because in an hour in consultation, you're vibing, you're sharing ideas, you're getting to know their love story, and after that hour and they decide to work with you, or I say we decide to work with each other, you really have no clue what you're walking into. And then at the end, you end up in the twilight zone and you're like, oh my gosh, what did I just sign up for? So, you know, that's definitely the type A bride happens. And although I have other planner friends that said that they fire brides, I have yet to do that. I've wanted to on several occasions, but I like to challenge and I hate to quit anything. And so, although I'll be like, are you kidding me? That's it. I can't take it. What did she call me? Or it's 3 in the morning? Or is she on crack? You'll hear me say that a lot too. She must be on drugs. Are you on crack? I have yet to say, you know what, this isn't going to work. You know, let's part ways. I may feel it and think it a lot, but I have yet to actually vocalize it. One wedding that I can remember saving the day that was a total chaos is I did a Seventh-day Adventist wedding that took place on a Thursday in Long Island. And the bride thought because it was cultural that she should put 11 o'clock on the invitations, even though it didn't start till noon. What happens is the bride did not get a hair trial and for some reason could not find her bridal shoes. So everybody's starting to arrive at the ceremony space, which is outdoors, tent, middle June, so it's a little warm. It's not an air-conditioned tent. 11 comes around, 11:30, 12 o'clock. Where's the bride? Bride hates her hair, so she's at the hairdresser having her do it over, and she can't find her shoes. So by this point, I would say 60 to 70% of the guests had arrived by 10:30, 11 o'clock. So everybody's fanning themselves, they're getting annoyed, what's going on? The groom is there sweating bullets. Okay, SJB here to try to rectify this and save the day. We ended up doing the cocktail hour before the ceremony so we could get everybody out of the tent, get them a little drunk, you know, let them drown their sorrows and all their complaints. So we had fabulous food. They drank a little bit, cheered, be merry, had some music for cocktail hour. They even were nice enough to extend it like an hour and 10 minutes. By the time everybody was a little fat and happy, we got them back into the tent. Had a beautiful ceremony with a bridal party of 60, mind you. Yes, 30 on each side in every shade of pink. And we had a wonderful ceremony, and then after that we had to haul ass and have a 2.5-hour wedding reception because we had to be out of there at 5 o'clock. And note, that was not a full service All Events Perfect event. They hired me to just tie loose ends the last couple of weeks and like a day of coordination, because that would have never happened on my watch where shoes couldn't be found, hair wasn't done, and I knew that she sent invitations stating an hour early than the ceremony actually started. But that was definitely interesting, and we made it work, and they were happy that all their guests weren't mad or upset with them.